Yeah, Jonathan Brandon will have surgery. He had surgery this morning, repair a broken fibula. It's with technology now. It's basically some screws and a plate, and get him back on the road to recovery. He's out 6 to 8 weeks. Happened in practice, sliding through the base, caught a spike on the bag. Just one of those things that can happen. Kid plays extremely hard. He had worked his way, all the way up from pretty much obscurity into probably being a starter at the time. And so uh, we've got Connor Dupuis provides really good defense. He defends at an extremely high level. Uh, Tremaine Spears, obviously Justin Green. So we've got some options. And it's like I told him when it happened, we hate it for JB, but it'll provide an opportunity for somebody else to step up, and maybe it's Connor Dupuis' time.
What are you looking forward to the most out of this weekend as far as like the players?
I think the biggest thing is you spend from August to December mastering a routine for the fall, correct? And how to go about your business in the classroom, off the field, practice, weights, etc. And then you spend 6 weeks apart for the Christmas break, and then you get back into what I call a spring training routine, where we get back January 12th, and we've already met 23 different times together as a team, and done some type of work, be it in the weight room or on the field. And now you start the last phase, and it's the last routine for us to master, and it's the actual season. It's the spring season, and the biggest part is getting off. You want to get off to a good start, but more than anything, you want to start planting those roots and starting a rock solid routine that you're going to be able to maintain throughout the course of 5 months. And that's our plan, is to play for 5 months. And so I think routine is a tremendously big deal in that, especially when you're dealing with baseball guys.
Heron and Burke, where are they right now physically?
Kevin, I think they're pretty close. We might see, you might see AP get on a bump a little bit later this week. Such a touchy thing. The lat can be a tremendously, up and down type injury, and I don't think he got it as bad as you can. Uh, Had a couple of different guys throughout my career miss over a year with it, and we're talking about 3 or 4 months right now with him, and he's already about to throw a bullpen. So I would say within the next, barring any setbacks, you probably see him on the bump in the next 3 weeks to 4 weeks. Bert is just a matter of continuing to heal that muscle that he tore, and it's in a precarious spot when you're talking about the groin and ab section of that abductor muscle. Arm is fully healthy. Arm's ready to go. It's a matter of how much can he move, and I think he's probably in AP's boat, probably in that 2 to 3 week range. But they'll be, just add them to the stable when they get back, and hopefully everybody else can, stay somewhat healthy.
Are you making a decision on Thursday, or do you want to watch it for 2 weeks?
No, I think we do. I think we know the first four guys that are going to go out. I think Wednesday's TBA, and would if we had five rock solid guys. But I'll probably come out with that Wednesday or Thursday.
Very emotional, obviously. Friday coming up. Are you concerned that the players almost may get too wrapped up in emotion, and the ball game itself becomes?
I would expect them to. I think, and I've told them that. The game at this juncture, obviously, we want to play our best, but my goodness, you get lost in emotion, go for it. We all should, right? Uh, we're not going to run from that or hide from that. We've addressed it multiple times. This is a huge weekend to unveil a statue and a number and to continue the healing process. We're talking about a legend that meant so much to so many different people in so many different ways. Uh, Baseball game's going to break out, okay? And I think we're all going to have a lot of fun.
Um, when speaking about the different opponents that you have this weekend, I guess starting with Southeastern, since that'll be your first opponent on Friday. What do you know just about the Lions and maybe what they may present?
Yeah, Matt Reiser, first and foremost, does a tremendous job. He's one of the best coaches in the country. He's young, energetic, intense, a lot of passion. J.R. Teagues, who passed the reins down to him, who's the AD there now, coached a very similar style. I have a lot of respect for Southeastern as well as La Tech. In the baseball circles, people that know, you better be ready. And they play a definitive brand of baseball. It's very systematic. They're going to have long ABs. They're going to move runners. They're going to look to take extra bases. Pitchers are going to pound the strike zone with multiple pitches, and they're probably going to defend it pretty good. That's a lot. And anytime, and I've been playing against Southeastern for years. Dating back to when I was here, and then obviously they were our number one competition when I was in the Southland. So I'm very familiar with their ball club, and can't stress enough how much respect I have for those guys. They play the game the right way. It's a fun brand of baseball. They play extremely hard, and they like to get after it. It's a lot of times we've played them. It's like looking at yourself in the mirror, and it's generally the first team that flinches. Is going to win that game. We've had a ton of games come down into the 7th, 8th, 9th inning with those guys. There's just no quit in them. Good thing for us is we've got really good starting pitching. We've got a bullpen to go to, and I think we're going to string together a bunch of competitive at-bats. Defensively, I think we're as rock solid of a ball club as I've had in a long time defensively.
Did you or maybe schedule Louisiana Tech after they lost the field, or was that one already in place?
Bab generally has, and most coaches, Tim, have that schedule done 2 to 3 years out. But that's a good point. One thing about La Tech, and Lane Burroughs is another guy, first class guy. Both of those guys are really what I call real good friends, and I got a lot of respect for them. That La Tech group's been through a lot, and they're going to be road warriors this year. And if they do play at home, it's going to be at a high school field. And so the 2 games back here may be a product of that. I think initially what happened, I wasn't here obviously, was there was probably somebody back out on us opening weekend. And so we get Southeastern and then bring La Tech into the mix. That's a pretty good opening weekend. And then you back that up by going to Southeastern, which is, hey, it's a tough venue. And they do a really good job of marketing that place, and they're going to pack it out. And then Tulane, who we all saw in the fall, I think we would all agree they're a much improved ball club and extremely well coached again. Every game we're going to have to take one at a time, literally. Like we said, we expect to win every time we go in and play. But if you look ahead of our schedule, it can get a little bit overwhelming. You got to stay day to day, one game at a time. Let's do whatever it takes to get this one. And like you said, Dan, there's going to be a lot of emotion this weekend. Our guys are ready to play. One of the most generic question is, are you guys ready? You look forward to opening it. But I think when you have a passion for the game and you love to play, I wish we played 162 of these things, okay? I love to play every day, and so do these kids. It's kind of like my good buddy Steve Springer talks about, every day's opening day. When you love to play and you have a chance to compete, you kind of get that feeling every day. And I think these boys are ready to play. I think they have been since they showed back up from Christmas. Do we have a lot to iron out? Most certainly. I think the most exciting thing, and the public will see this in short order, is this group has a chance to continue to get better and better and better. So I'm excited about staying in that process and kind of just letting the games get in the way, if you will.
I get the one game, every game thing, but after the first 4 or 5 games, do you want to, in your mind, like X number, with all the option interchangeability that you talked about, X number of bats for this guy, X number of bats for that guy, for these first 5 or 6 just to get the ball rolling, or is that not really in your mentality?
We have a lot of interchangeable parts, Kevin, but the unfortunate thing about today's day and age is RPI. And with RPI, man, you got to set out to win every single game. And so if we stumble upon that right mix early, obviously I would expect to start identifying roles later in a game, i.e. base run, defense, pinch hit, bullpen type roles. That'll be awesome. But if we run a lineup out there that gets it done, don't be surprised if we stay with that thing for a while. And I like this group. They're dynamic, man. They do a little bit of everything. I was real excited. Pulled up today, putting a padded wall up as we speak right now in the rain, and got goosebumps, chills looking at it because I know how much that meant to Coach Robe, and that's something that he always wanted to get done, and was in the midst of trying to get done, and through a lot of generosity and a lot of people bending over backwards, and Coach Babb worked his butt off getting it done. Finally, we're not going to lead, the nation in home run ground balls this year. There's an actual fence going up. So, hopefully we'll get that done. I think we will. It's going to be a tremendous opening night. Like you said, we're looking to honor the Robe Show family and Coach Robe.